Think we're live. Hmm, Make sure that there's plenty of light coming in. Sometimes there's not enough light. All right. Don't mind me adjusting the light. We are good. Okay. Okay. Don't need to hear myself. Okay. Here we are. What's good, everybody? Welcome to day one of the subathon, streamathon that I got going on. And today we got a big special topic. As you guys know, 2 years ago today, Across the Spiderverse released in theaters, and it took the world by storm again for a second time. Into the Spider-Verse did it, and then Across the Spider-Verse came out in 2023, and it took the world by storm once again. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about it during a stream, kind of celebrate, it being 2 years of the film, and kind of talking with you guys about what you guys liked about the film. What are some memorable things in the film that you like? Is it one of your top Spider-Man films of all time? We can go into all of that discussion and more. So yeah, let's see what you guys are saying. Professor Palm, what's up, man? Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. You said you said Across Spider-Verse is a great movie. Well, I'm glad you think it's a great movie. Everybody's gonna have a very varied opinion about this film. Some people are gonna say it's you know one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time. Some people are going to say that they didn't quite like this film. There's going to be some people who say that Into was better than Across. And hey, in some ways I do agree with that. I do think Into is still my favorite, but I love Across just as much. So for me, they're kind of equal. I love them both. Um, you said there was a major plot hole in the movie. What was your major plot hole? Because I know a lot. I know there was like a lot of people who have a lot of like feelings towards the movie, saying that it's a one-parter. It's a two-parter film. So it really isn't a full movie. But how many movies have we had throughout years and years of like film where they're all like multiple parts? Back to the Future, that's technically not one movie when you really think about Back to the Future, because it's literally a continuing story with each of the three movies. So I don't consider Back to the Future a completed movie. But what makes Back to the Future so special is that there is an overarching story that kind of finishes up in that one film, that if they wanted to go further, it's kind of like, okay, that's dope. We can go a little bit further with that. But I think my argument with people when it comes to them saying that Across isn't like it's not a finished film. It's like, well, what do you consider a finished film? Because what we saw from, Miles getting stuck into another universe, things like that, I just feel like it was kind of like a finished film, but we're getting a second layer to it. So it's gonna make sense when we get to Beyond why they had to split the movie into two. So let's see what you guys are saying. I realized something crazy looking back. What did you realize? Hey Colbert, what's up, man? What's up? What up? How's your day? My day is good, man. I can't complain. I cannot complain. So, yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing, my friend? You said if the spot didn't exist, then the Indian Spider-Man wouldn't have had his canon event. Technically, technically that's true, because I mean, when you think about it, the spot is really what almost caused him the death of his girlfriend and his father, right? Well, the girl he liked. I don't think that was his girlfriend yet. Um, but Miles came in, he kind of stopped it, he saved it, so it was kind of like, okay, that whole thing kind of doesn't have to happen anymore. So in a way, this whole thing that Miles is the anomaly, I never really put too much faith in that theory because it's like Miles has always been destined to be Spider-Man. And I guess that was their way to kind of show the other crowd of people who still to this day think that Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man, he isn't deserving to be Spider-Man. But Miles has proved so many times throughout the comics, throughout the games, throughout the movies, the animated cartoons, that he is Spider-Man. He's just as a right to be Spider-Man as Peter Parker is. And I think that I like how they were able to twist that narrative and use that in within the story to kind of show that there's a lot of inconsistencies with Miguel's whole theory about the canon events and Miles being the anomaly and all that, and we're gonna see all that play out even more in the next Beyond the Spider-Verse for sure. You said that I really love the Spider-Man movie. This one you love. I'm gonna ask you guys this. Do you guys prefer Into or Across? I want to ask you guys that. Which movie do you guys like more? I'm sure you guys like both movies, but which one do you prefer? Shot. What's up, Carson? Stoked for Beyond. Yeah, I'm stoked for Beyond too, man. I'm hyped. We got a little bit over 2 years until Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, but I think it'll be worth the wait. I think we're gonna get some more information about it next year. So I think just stay tuned because I think we're gonna get some information about it next year for sure. Maybe like a trailer or teaser trailer or something, So we're not too far. We're not too far along from that movie, or hearing anything about the movie. I'm just glad that at CinemaCon we were able to get a, uh, a release date and some new images from the movie. That I'm just glad we were able to get that. But yeah, what's up, Carson? I'm glad you're here. You said, let's see what you guys are saying. Have you seen the original Spider-Man movie before? I have many times throughout my childhood, growing up. Yes, I've seen the original Spider-Man movie, Tobey Maguire. That is my childhood. Those movies are my childhood. I remember watching every single one of those movies with my dad growing up. He had the DVD. I remember the main menu screen with him flying through the little camera and everything. Those were the good times, man. They don't do stuff like that anymore. At least with DVD releases, they don't do much of that like main menu screen interaction stuff anymore. It's kind of like always a still image. Now, Into the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse, they actually have done that because uh it's like moving animations throughout, so it works. Uh so yeah, why is well, okay, what happened? Oh, zero people watching. That's weird. Okay. You said a Spider-Man movie is awesome to me. So are you talking about Tobey Maguire or are you talking about one of the others? Amazing. Yeah, amazing. He was called Kid Arachnid in the show. Yeah, he was. But Miles doesn't really have a name. Like even in the comics, he doesn't even have a name. Like he's just Miles Morales, or he's just referred to as Spider Man. Like in the game, Spider-Man 2, he's referred to as Spider-Man. And that gets kind of confusing because it's like the whole Spider-Man pointing meme. It's like, okay, you're Spider-Man. No, no, I'm talking to that Spider-Man. No, that's Spider-Man over there. So it does get confusing, but I think it's for the overall main purpose of just kind of keeping that name intact with the characters. Like obviously you veer off, you got Ghost Spider, you have Spider Punk, you have Spider-Man 2099, you have all that. Which rest in peace to the creator of Spider-Man 2099. He recently passed away, so rest in peace to him. Um, I also the guy who from King of the Hill. I just read what happened to him today. It's just really saddening stuff. What's going on? So rest in peace to him as well. I actually liked Into better. Okay, that's understandable because it was kind of cool to watch a Spider-Man origin. Yeah, I agree. It was a different take on the origin story. It was through Miles's lens, and I really liked how they were able to kind of match Peter Parker's origin, but then kind of do it in another direction where it's like, okay, that's different. I like the way you did that. So I think that's why, for me, Into just it notches across just a little bit, just by a little bit. But I love and adore both movies. You know, a new one, that is. Yeah, there is a new one. There is a new one coming out, Beyond the Spiderverse. It will be releasing 2027. I actually made a video about that. I've made quite a few videos about it actually, but the recent one that I made, we actually got the release date and some new images of the film and stuff. So if you want to go check that out, I can probably link you that video and whatnot. Let's see, a new one. Let's see. Wait a minute. Are they going to make it? Yes, they are going to make a new Spider-Man movie. They're actually, we got two on the way, actually. We have Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is set to come out next year. Word on the street is that Tom Holland and everybody involved with that film is set to start filming in July. So that's the word on the street for that film. But then also 2027. Actually, technically, we got four Spider-Man projects coming out next year, right? No. Actually, we have. Is it four? Wait a minute. No, we actually have three coming out in the landscape of like 2 years, 2 to 3 years. Because we have Spider-Man Brand New Day that comes out next year, apparently, supposedly, if things don't change. Then we have Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2, which they said that that's supposed to come out next year, 2026. Spider Noir, which is set to come out next year. So yeah, technically four. There is technically four Spider-Man projects, and then Beyond the Spider-Verse is 2027. So yeah, and then who knows? Spider-Man 3, whenever that game decides to come out. Word on the street is they have been working on the game a little bit. So who knows? We might get that 2028, 2029. Just all depends, really. I think they're probably going to release that around the same time that the PS6 comes out. And I know that's like a headache in itself, kind of already thinking about the PS6, but I think they're going to make that a PS6, straight on game for them. So I think that's what they're going to do around that time. So yeah, a lot of Spider-Man related content coming out in the next couple years. There's actually an idea that I've been thinking about for a while that maybe I'll do a stream on, maybe I'll do a video on it. Just an idea that I think Spider-Man fans of just all different kinds of the Spider-Verse characters that we've seen, I think people would love this idea because it's like it's something that has been done before, but not in the Spider-Man sector. So I think that is something that I would love to explore down the road. Just gotta really kind of put it together. What I'm thinking about. It's great. They could have called him Spider Boy. I mean, there's already a Spider Boy. There's already a Spider Boy, so they couldn't have called him that. And even then, like, I don't think Spider Boy fits Miles. You know what I mean? Like, Miles is eventually he's gonna grow up too, just like Peter Parker has. So we're gonna see Miles grown up at some point down the road. And I just don't think a name like Spider Boy fits him. So he needs something that's really like definitive to him, even as him growing up. They should have called Gwen Spider Girl. I mean, they could have, but I think Ghost Spider just hits harder. I think that's just a better name. So yeah, Hey, Colbert, you didn't have to retract your message. What were you? I don't know what you were saying before, but what were you saying? I can't believe the creator of Spider-Man 2099 passed away. That's very sad. Yeah, he passed away, and it sucks. Every time one of these like comic book creators and things like that, they make these iconic characters, and you think they're gonna stay for as long as possible. But one thing about life is very unpredictable. You just never know. So again, my condolences to him, his family, and just everybody that's worked with him at Marvel or DC or just other places that he's done work for. My condolences to them, and um, thank you to creating an iconic character like Spider-Man 2099. I'm sure people knew about him before Across the Spider-Verse, but I think Across the Spider-Verse kind of brought more brought more exposure to the character. So I wouldn't be surprised if in Beyond they do like a tribute to him. His name's Peter David, right? I think that's his name, Peter David. I might be wrong, but they might do a tribute to him, maybe like in love and memory of Peter David. Thank you for making these iconic Spider Verse characters and things like that. So I think that would be a really nice way to kind of show show love and appreciation to him and the contributions he's made. Carter, what's up, man? You said in the poster of the King of the Hill revival, they revealed they see you see Dell wearing a VR headset, which I think which you can think of what crazy theories. Yeah, Dell's gonna be the same character for sure. Like Dell, he's gonna still. I think the crazy theories and everything now is just gonna be even more crazier because just based off of like everything that has happened up until this point, Solomon, what's up, man? What's up? I hope you're still in the stream. I don't know if you are, but what's up, man? What's your prediction on Beyond the Spider Verse? Machio says that's a good question. So my prediction for Beyond the Spider Verse is that I think that Miles is going to maybe realize that there is a 50-50 possibility of him saving his family, of him saving his father. And I think he is going to save his father. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this happened in the comics before with Miles, where there was a situation where he was, and this was like an alternate comic universe, um, where he had to prevent his father's death. Now, obviously, you played the Insomniac games. Unfortunately, Miles didn't have his spider powers at that time, so he wasn't able to, save his dad. And then in the comics, his mom is the one that ends up dying. So I think there is going to be a possibility where either Peter B. Parker is going to sacrifice himself to help Miles, or I think someone else is gonna sacrifice themselves to kind of keep the flow of the multiverse from being intact. Whether it's Miguel, whether it's um, you know Peter B. Parker, that's something we'll have to see. But I think somebody, unfortunately, has to go because I mean, the even with the creators, they've talked about wanting a satisfying ending, and I'm sure we're gonna get a satisfying ending. But I think to get to that satisfying ending, we have to face with something very heartbreaking. Again, rather that is a character dies off or something else happens. That's something we'll have to see. But I think Miles is gonna save his parents in the end. It's just a matter of how we're going to get there. I'm looking forward to watching a new Spider-Man movie if it's going to come out this year. Well, Brand New Day won't come out this year, but Brand New Day will come out next year. So you won't have to worry about waiting too long for that. And like I said, Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out the year after that film. So again, a lot of Brand New Day uh, Beyond the Spiderverse news that we'll be hearing. Are you here? And all have you been hearing all the rumors of Spider-Man Brand New Day? This might be the best Spider-Man movie ever. Well, you're in luck because tomorrow that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about all these Spider-Man Brand New Day rumors, all this stuff. It's crazy right now. We're going to go back and we're going to kind of talk about all of these different rumors and things like that that we've heard from the beginning of, the production, all that stuff. So definitely tune into that stream tomorrow because I definitely will go in and we'll have that conversation about what we think may happen in Brand New Day. Is the rumors true? Are they false? What would you like to see in Brand New Day? What I like to see in Brand New Day? So all that. So tune in because, like I said, it's streamathon week. I'm gonna be streaming every single day this week. So stay tuned, Solomon. Antonio, what's up, man? I'm very excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I know this is going to be in-game. I know Miles Morales' character has been having heart and soul as Spider-Man. I know it's going to be fantastic. Yeah, for sure. Although Beyond the Spider-Verse may be the end of the theatrical side, that doesn't mean we won't see these characters again. I think we will see these characters again. Rather, we're kind of already seeing some of them now. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man season 2 is going to be introducing Spider Gwen, which she's a very popular character in her own right, like as she should be. So we're kind of already seeing some of those characters. Spider Noir, he's getting his own series next year. So we're kind of already seeing some of these characters kind of be put out into other media, but they're still here. So, like I said, although this may be the end game for these characters, I don't think it'll be the last. I mean, I would love to see an animated movie on some of these other Spider-Man characters that we've gotten. Maybe they don't have to do the whole Spider-Verse thing. Maybe they could do another art style, but I think that would be cool to continue all that. And this is what kind of leads me into my point of the idea concept that I have that I would love to talk about on like a stream. So yeah, just stay tuned for that, Antonio. But yeah, Miles, he's Miles is probably my favorite Spider-Man. And I know that's like easy to say because it's like, oh, you're black, so obviously you're gonna think that. But that's not it. It's just there's so many experiences that I've had, in Miles' shoes that I like resonate with like really, really much to my life. And I think that Miles just has proved time and time again, regardless of what anyone has said about him, regardless of what all the nasty and mean comments that people, in the comics or in real life say about him, he keeps proving time and time again that he is Spider Man. He is his own Spider Man, and he's proud to be. Um, so yeah, like now, like he's literally in the comics, like he literally has a spider god, like a spider avatar now. Like they are really building up. And shout out to Cody Ziegler. He is really building up the Spider-Man lore with Miles, and I really appreciate that. He's creating all new villains for Miles to face. He's creating a whole mythos around Miles. The whole Miles and Black Panther thing was so dope. Miles and Deadpool. I mean, he's just like he's really taken new ground with Miles and introducing these new mythology ideas and things like that. And I really appreciate it. And I saw it on Twitter. Someone was saying that Cody Ziegler should do a Miles Morales animated series. And I would absolutely love that. I would love that. I don't know why they haven't done it. I know if you guys checked my interview with Jeff Trammell, he kind of teased that that was kind of one of the things he thought about. But who knows? Who knows? We might get a Miles Morales animated series down the road. I think anything is possible with how Marvel animation has been going as of recently. I think there's so many different possibilities that they could go to in the future. It's just all in a matter of what just keep telling that, Marvel, if hey, I want a Miles Morales animated series. I'm sure people at Marvel, they have people at Marvel that look at the online reception of what people are saying and they're like, okay, let's take this into consideration. People want a Miles Morales animated series. I think we should do it. I think it's time. So you never know who's watching, you never know who's listening. Are they going to make a reboot for King of the Hill? Yes, they are. There is a reboot on the way. It's coming in August. Check out my channel. I did 2 videos on it. I did a reaction to the intro, the new intro they made, and I did a follow-up video which gives you some more information about the reboot and things like that. So check that out, Colbert. I think you'll enjoy that content. Mario Fanatic, what's up? You said, do you think Beyond the Spider-Verse's end credits will have a montage similar to Deadpool and Wolverine by adding the Green Days of the time of your life as a goodbye to the Sony era of Spider-Man like the X-Men? Now, I don't know if they'll do anything like that, but I do think this, like, just how Across the Spider-Verse, which can we talk about how the ending credits, how just beautiful that looks? Like just the animation still frame of all the different shots, like the shot with Prowler Miles and Miles, and then you have like him falling through the spot and things like that, right? And you see him swinging and leaping through the screen. Can we just talk about, and then the song, the song. Across the Spider Verse has like one of my Across the Spider Verse is probably my favorite soundtrack to listen to. Like there were two soundtracks that I had on repeat in 2023. That was Creed 3. Creed 3 soundtrack was phenomenal. You had J. Cole on there, you had JID on there, you had Boss on there, you had all of them on there. So I was listening to that heavy. Then you had the Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack. You had Metro Boomin. You had all of these different artists and stuff on there, and I just felt like Metro Boomin killed it with the soundtrack. Like there are no skips on that soundtrack for me. Like I just absolutely love that soundtrack to death. So I hope they bring back Metro Boomin. And I said this in my intergalactic video, but can we get a Metro Boomin and Kid Cudi collab? I need that. Kid Cudi's soundtrack for Intergalactic is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. So I need them to collab. I don't know how, I don't know if they will, but I would love to see that. So yeah, let's see what you guys are saying. Yeah, Miles has been through a lot after being betrayed and heartbreaking. Miles was right to be mad at Gwen and Peter B, which Penny Parker as well. Yeah, like think about it from Miles's perspective, right? He's thinking like, okay, I'm seeing all my friends again. It feels just like how it was before. But then you kind of get sidelined, which in a way, it wasn't Gwen's fault because Gwen, she was trying to protect him. And I think a lot of people kind of misconstrue that whole thing. They blame Gwen for this. It's not Gwen's fault. I never really saw it as Gwen's fault. It's just that she was trying to protect him. And instead, it felt more like a betrayal from Miles's perspective, which if you really think about it, it does feel that way. It does feel like he is being betrayed by the people he cares about. Because you would think at that age, being a teenager, the people that you depend on the most, all of a sudden now this guy who straight up tells you, oh, you're not Spider-Man. You were never meant to be Spider-Man. You know, all the while it feels like they're siding with him, but they're not until they realize, okay, yeah, Miguel, he's taken it way too far. He's gone way too crazy about all this. Then you start to see their perspectives on it, it's like, okay, now I do see Miles's perspective on it now. So all it takes is just a slight miscommunication for things like this to happen. And then, again, Beyond the Spider-Verse, it's going to be an emotional film. There's going to be a lot of reconciliation. There's going to be some arguments. There's going to be some back and forth. There's just going to be a lot of emotion. And I just don't think people are going to be prepared to see how much emotion, how much these characters have gone through to finally come to a closing end where they said it's going to be a satisfying conclusion. We're going to see it start out at a rocky place in Beyond. And then over time, we're going to start to see things kind of build more into what it was before the trust was kind of damaged. So even in that first like shot that we saw with Miles and Gwen, right? Like they're at Spider-Punk's universe, which by the way, Spider-Punk's universe wasn't shown in Across the Spider-Verse, but there's concept art out there that you guys can find of Hobie Brown's universe, and it's like a paper cut rock star London type area. And we saw that they were literally on top of a building, and there was like boats in the background, and it was like paper cut and things like that. So with that in mind, we're going to go to Hobie Brown's universe. And they said that there's going to be some other different animation styles that they're going to be testing out as well in the film, in the next film, which gets me excited because we already seen so many different styles of animation in Across. How far are they going to take it and beyond? Because bear in mind, technology when they worked on Beyond is a lot different than technology that we have now. Technology has advanced so much that they're probably pushing the limits to more animation barriers, new heights that we probably haven't even seen yet. So it just gets me excited from a story standpoint, but also as an artistic standpoint as well. Someone who just loves and adores animation of many different styles. It's going to be really interesting and fun to see what kind of styles they played around with this time around. You said you can tell Phil Lord and Chris Miller has been amazing writing it as the heart, as heart, soul, and drama and emotional. Yeah, we can't forget Kim Powers as well. Kim Powers, he's done, Bebe's Kids. He's worked on The Proud Family, so we can't forget Kim Powers as well. So shout out to him. Patrick O'Keefe as well. There's so many people who've worked on the Spider Verse films that have just been like, without them, and just really also most importantly, all the animators, the cast and crew, just everybody who has worked on these films. Shout out to them because without them, we don't have, these movies are going to be hanged up in a museum one day. I really am a believer that these films could really be hung up in a museum just based off of how artistically beautiful they are. And, it's just so inspiring to see people come together of all different backgrounds, all different ethnicities to work on a film this big and this grand. You don't really, you don't get that as much. And that's why these movies feel so special, is because of that. But yeah, LC3, yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I can't wait. So the new Spider-Man movie only comes out next year. Yeah, Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out next year. That's the only movie. But as far as TV stuff, Year for Labor Spider-Man Season 2 and Spider Noir are next year for the TV side. I think if somebody watches, maybe has like a kid, or maybe like a sister, son, or a brother, then Spidey and his amazing friends, I think, is getting a new season. I heard, and Jeff the Land Shark is on there, which Jeff has been very popular with Marvel Rivals. I see a lot of Jeff. People have been asking about a Jeff animated series. So who knows? That might be the blueprint of getting a Jeff the Land Shark animated series. I think that would be kind of cool. Jeff is a very obscure character in Marvel that I know of, but he's very popular within the Marvel Rivals community and stuff like that. Did you know that Marvel at one point named Miles Spin, Kid Arachnic, and Spidey? I did. I did hear the Spin name I heard, but Spidey, that's actually new. I have not heard about the Spidey name. I don't know how that would have worked either. I don't know. Those names just don't scream Miles to me. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what a proper name for Miles would be, but I don't think any of those would work. What is your favorite Spider-Man movie? So are we counting animated or live action? Cuz of all time, I think of all time, it's got to go. That's tough. Cuz into if that animated side, that would be Into the Spider-Verse. But live action, that would be Spider-Man 2. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2 is my all-time favorite live action Spider-Man movie. I just beautifully well made film. Like to me that is the pinnacle of live action Spider-Man in my opinion. But some people love Toby, some people love Andrew, some people love Tom. And I think that's what's so dope about again going back into the Spider-Verse concept. That's what's so dope about all of this is that everybody has a Spider-Man that they like, that they rock with, that they ride or die for. So again, when you have one group of people that love Toby, one group of people that love Andrew, one group of people that have Tom, you have a big event like No Way Home. It brings in fans from each sector and it's like a celebration, right? That's what I think these Spider Verse movies do as well, because you have your Peter Parker over here, you have your Miles Morales, you have your Gwen Stacy, you have your Hobie Brown, you have your Miguel O'Hara, you have your Jessica Drew, you have all of these different variants and Spider Verse people that all come onto the screen together. That when you see them, it's like, oh snap, there's Spectacular Spider-Man. Oh snap, there's Insomniac Spider-Man. Oh snap, there's Ultimate Spider-Man. There's like all these different. There's Zombie Spider-Man. Like you have all these different dope variants and just how they even if it's just a short little 5 second thing where you just see them on screen and you don't see them again for the rest of the film, it's just cool that you're able to see a Spider-Man that you resonate with, you know? So again, that's just a testament to the Spider-Verse idea in general and just being able to add more to it, you know? But yeah, thoughts on Teen Titans Go? I don't really have any thoughts on Teen Titans Go. It's not really for me. Um, but you know, for those who like Teen Titans Go, hey, you know, more power to you. But I'm a OG Teen Titans fan. I am hoping that we could get like a Teen Titans animated series, kind of around that same sector of the original show. But I know Teen Titans Go is very popular, you know, and they've been on for so long that I can't even knock the show. As much as I'm not a fan of it, I can't knock it because it's been on for so long. So yeah, whatever floats your boat, whatever you like, hey, if it's for you. But it's just not for me. Yeah. So Sony Pictures Animation has been awesome work for stylizing animation movies, The Mitchells and the Machines, K-pop, Demon Hunters, and the Spider-Verse films. Yeah, say what you will about Sony and their live action department. You could say that the live action Spider-Man films and the villain films that they try to do have been a missed opportunity. But I will say Sony Pictures Animation has always tried to find new ways to innovate animation. That is one thing I've noticed with their movies throughout, their evolution, is that they've always tried to find new styles, new ways of approaching films. And I can appreciate that about them. Are you ready for Beyond the Spider-Verse? Poe, yes, I am so ready for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I wish I had a time machine so I could just teleport myself to 2027 right now and I can go see that movie because I really want to go see it. I've been just hoping that we get some kind of teaser trailer or something maybe next year. It seems like next year might be more possible for that. I don't want to say this year because they're still working on the film. But I think next year it's possible that we might see some more stuff with the film. I just hope that when the marketing comes out, I hope they continue to do what they did before. Because when Across the Spider Verse came out, you could actually get like text messages from them, and they would show like the posters of the characters. They would do have gifts. They would send you all kinds of stuff. They had like a Spider Verse like filter thing that you could have like a picture of yourself, and you can have your own Spider Man persona. Like there was just all kinds of cool stuff that they did across with the marketing. There was even like a phone number that you could call at one point, and it would be a message from Gwen. It would be about her, trying to contact you from the multiverse. We need your help and things like that. And I like intuitive stuff like that. Invincible, they do that. Every season they notify people through text messages. When the new season's coming out, they give you new images, stuff like that. So I like when they do that kind of marketing. So I hope they continue to do that with Beyond because I will love that. 2023 was an excellent year for Spider-Man. It really was. It was just a very big prominent year. I mean, we had Across the Spider-Verse, then we had Spider-Man 2, and I don't know if Carson's still in here or not, but my buddy Carson, we actually um we actually got a chance to see like the Summer Games Fest, which by the way, Summer Games Fest is this week. So let me know if any of you guys are going to be checking out Summer Games Fest and whatnot. But we were checking out Summer Games Fest, and they showed off like some Spider-Man stuff, which we had already gotten like a 12-minute gameplay of Spider-Man 2 with him, with the symbiote suit and things like that. He's attacking people and whatnot. So we kind of already saw that. But then we got to the Summer Games Fest, and then, we got like some more stuff. They should shown an image with Venom and Miles and Spider-Man in the rain at night. And I'm gonna say this. I was disappointed with Spider-Man 2. I might be I might be the only one, but I was disappointed with how Spider-Man 2, how they did a lot of things in there. I just don't feel like the game had enough time to cook. They didn't have enough time to just do all the things that they wanted to do because there was a lot of things in there to me that felt rushed. I thought the symbiote arc felt rushed to me. I felt like we just needed more time with the symbiote arc. I feel like the Venom thing, we kind of got to the Venom thing a little too quick, and then we didn't really get to explore the effects of Venom and the symbiote invasion to me. It just felt so quick-handed, and it's just disappointing because there are aspects of Spider-Man 2, the game, that I like, but I was just disappointed with just the story and just how short it felt. Like I feel like the game just needed I just needed more time. It needed more hours for us to kind of get into like a cohesive timing and pacing. But I don't hate the game like some people do. I think some people blow it out of proportion, saying it's the worst Spider-Man game ever. I don't agree with that. Yeah, there's some missed opportunities in the game. Yeah, sure, but I don't think it's the worst Spider-Man game. I think people are just doing way too much when it comes to that. But yeah, my favorite song is Hummingbird. Yeah, Hummingbird, man, that song right there, Self Love. Yeah, those are some great songs right there. Like I said, Beyond the Across the Spider Verse has just a great soundtrack. You know what I mean? I really did. I really love that soundtrack. Mario Fanatic, you said my theories for Beyond the Spider Verse would be to have Tom Holland appear, Earth 8 with Miles and Gwen having kids and getting married, their parents unground Miles, and Miles and Gwen kiss like elementals Wade and Ember. Now, I do think we are going to get a romance between Gwen and Miles. They've been building that up since Into. I personally would love to see that. I'm not of the shipper type, but I will say I am a Ghost Flower. I'm a Ghost Flower supporter. Okay, like I want them to be together. I think they would just make a amazing couple. And yeah, so I hope they get together. I hope it happens. I have a feeling it will. So I think they will have a good romantic ending or just a satisfying ending with those two. And Tom Holland appearing, I mean that could be interesting, but with Brand New Day, I just don't know how they would even I don't even know how they would even manage to do that. So we've gotten little mentions of Tom Holland here or there, but I don't know if we're gonna see him. I don't know if we're gonna see the other live action Spider-Man either. It's possible we might, but I just don't know how they would fit that into the storyline if again Secret Wars and Doomsday, all that's going on, and then it's like, okay, well, how does that make sense? Because Doomsday is going on here, Secret Wars is going on here, but we're clearly seeing them, and I mean, technically, Secret Wars has been pushed back, so they could technically put them in, but still, I don't know how that would work. I just don't know how that would work. It's gonna be like the bad guy scene where Stink and the crew left Wolf behind. It's the same score. I haven't seen Bad Guys, so I don't know too much about it. I think Beyond the Spider Verse needs to have an end credits montage with behind the scenes footage from past Spider Man movies. The Green Day song "Good Riddance," "Time of Your Life." I mean, it's possible. They might do some kind of thing where we see like behind the scenes footage of the cast and crew working on projects and stuff, sort of like as a thank you and just a thank you to the fans as well. I think I think that's a possibility. Um, it's just kind of it's kind of thinking about like where do they go from here? Like, are they going to um are they going to just kind of be done with the Spider Verse stuff in general? I mean, surely not. Like I said, we're getting Spider Noir. There was talks of a Silk series. I think they canceled the Silk series, which is unfortunate because I think Silk is a very interesting character. And I know we're gonna be getting Silk supposedly in the next Spider-Man game after what we saw. But I still think Silk having her own show would have been cool just to kind of continue that. But like I said, stay tuned for that stream idea that I have because I'm going to be putting out a concept idea of something that I think would be really cool to kind of further continue the Spider Verse of it all. So, yeah, Beyond the Spider Verse is going to start with the ending of Across Spider Verse. Yeah, they're basically just going to pick up right where they left off. So we saw Miles strapped up to the punching bag, and we saw Prowler Miles. I'm still calling him Prowler Miles because it's just easier for me to call him Prowler Miles. Although his name is Miles G. Morales, but I still call him Prowler Miles. So we're gonna see how that comes out. Obviously, you saw the images. We saw them fighting it out with each other. Uh, so there's definitely something there. Either they are fighting or working together. That's something we'll have to figure out. Um, so I even then I kind of wonder about like Prowler Miles. Like, how is the story gonna end for him? Sony Pictures Animation has been creating some new animation style for Beyond the Spider-Verse, just like they did with Across the Spider-Verse. Exactly, like technology from 2020 when they worked on the movie. I'm sure they probably worked on the movie like exactly after Into. So they've been working on that movie for like 5 years. They've been working on Beyond the Spider Verse for like 5 years. So that tells me just based off the images they showed, they've been working on Beyond the Spider Verse for a while now. So with that in mind, we're definitely going to see some new innovative technology when it comes to animation. Do you know that Chris Miller treats his animator like trash in the production? I did hear about I did hear about the people, like 100 people were like either they left production or something like that because they were overworked and they were underpaid. And I will mention that. I'll say I hope that this time around they don't do that. I hope that everybody involved, the animators and stuff are paid. I hope that they've been given more time to just relax and spend time with their families cuz spending your entire day sector of just being in the office drawing or animating stuff, it takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on you. So I hope that this time around they, make sure, I don't even think it is Chris Miller or Phil Lord thing. I think it's just more of a Sony thing. And I just hope that, Sony seeing after what happened with the live action, uh, stuff that they were trying to do and just rushing all that and not really thinking it through, that they really sit there and just let the animators have the time they need to just work and just perfect the craft more and more and give them time and give them the pay they deserve. Everybody's working hard on this film and I hope they can give them that. Spider Society should focus on the incursions. I mean, that would be cool. I mean, Miguel seems very knowledgeable about all this stuff, the breaking of the multiverse, the universe, and things like that. So, in a theological theological sense of things, it would make sense for Miguel to kind of be like, "Hey, we got to find a way to either prune these timelines or figure out what's going on, what's causing the incursions." Along with like a Doctor Strange or a Mr. Fantastic. But I just don't know if that's what they'll do. But who knows? Anything is possible. Anything is possible. My favorite Spider Man movie is Into the Spider Verse. Spider Man Homecoming, Spider Man No Way Home, and Across the Spider Verse. Every director and writer put their heart and soul out. I had a feeling Beyond the Spider Verse would be more emotional, heart, funny, action, and more emotional core. Yeah, Beyond the Spider Verse is gonna have all those elements. Like I said, definitely the emotional side of things, just based off of the fact that there's so many things that happen in Across, and they have to tie those story loops up with whatever conclusions these characters have, whatever understanding these characters have down the road. It will only make sense for them to kind of continue that, which I can't wait for more emotional connection between Miles, Gwen, Peter B, and more. Show the character love is Miles' character. Yeah, Miles is definitely gonna have a lot of character growth for sure. And this is everything that he's going through right now is just gonna make him an even more stronger and more smarter and more calculated Spider-Man. He was already strong and capable. He ran through an entire Spider Verse of people, by the way. Like, let's talk about that for a minute. Dude was getting exiled. He sped through an entire hall of the Spire Society. He outsmarted everybody by just running and leaping and jumping through things and sliding through the cafeteria tables and and everything. Like he really like outsmarted everybody. Where'd he get it from? Peter B. Parker kind of taught him that. Peter B. Parker was like, "Hey, that's my student right there. That's my guy." Which I thought that was very heartfelt. That the reason why he had a daughter was because of Miles, right? That was such a very heartwarming thing because in a way, in the first movie, Miles was kind of like his son, right? Like the son he never had. So that being an inspiration and an influence for him to have Mayday with Mary Jane, I like that. I like those elements like that. Mary Jane or Gwen? That's a good question. It all depends. Like I said, for Peter Parker, I'm gonna go with Mary Jane. And I know there's been so much history in the past couple of years where comic book writers continue to push away Peter Parker and Mary Jane, and it's a very annoying thing for me as someone who ships and just appreciates the relationship that Stan Lee and John Romita Sr. and all these different comic book writers had set up all these years ago. You know, I appreciated them trying to have Mary Jane as the in-game woman for Peter Parker. But then other comic book writers came along and they started changing it and they had them break up and then you had to bring this guy named Paul in the mix and I'm like, who cares about this guy named Paul? Why is he even here? Nobody likes Paul anyway, so I just it just annoys me how some people are trying to break away this whole thing of Peter Parker was never meant to be with Mary Jane. Because that's not true. Peter Parker was always meant to be with Mary Jane. It's like when you go through life, right? And another problem I have is like, I feel like they don't want Peter Parker to grow up. They want Peter Parker to still be the same teenage kid that he was when he first appeared. That's not the case now. The audience has grown up. Everybody's grown up since then. People want to see Peter Parker married and with kids and deal with adult problems that we deal with on a regular day lifespan basis. And the problem I have is that some of these comic book writers, they kind of shy away from what makes Peter Parker so special. And that's growing with the character. We started out with him in high school. Then we saw him go graduate. He went to college. Then he graduated from college. He worked at the Daily Bugle. He became a teacher at one point. He was a bodyguard at one point. He was a performer at one point. He was doing all these things. And it felt real to the character because they weren't trying to make Peter Parker this still same high school kid all these years that he first appeared in Amazing Fantasy 15. They wanted they wanted him to grow up. They wanted to see the relatability in him growing up and going to college and having romantic relationships that worked out, didn't work out, got married and all this stuff, right? Only for again a group of comic writers to come in and just say, you know what, let's just strip all that. Let's just strip all that. That doesn't exist anymore. Peter Parker and Mary Jane, oh no, they're no more. Let's just get rid of that. Let's just act like that never happened. That is the problem I don't like, and that's the problem I have. So I'm for your question, I'm gonna go with Peter Parker for Mary Jane. That's his go-to wife. That's his in game for me personally. But some people will say Gwen. You know what? I can't argue that because Peter Parker, he loved Gwen. He did. He loved Gwen. Unfortunately, the Green Goblin unfortunately did his due diligence and Gwen Stacy died because he wasn't able to catch her. He tried to catch her, but he wasn't. quick enough to catch her, and unfortunately, she died. But then, even then, like after that, them kind of playing the story with Mary Jane coming in, and that iconic comic book image where Peter Parker's just staring at her, and she closes the door and she hugs him. That to me solidified the moment that Mary Jane was meant to be Peter Parker's wife, Peter Parker's woman, Peter Parker's endgame. That was what solidified it for me. And I still feel that way now. Even after what they've done to try to retcon it, I am still a believer that Mary Jane is the rightful woman of Peter Parker. So yeah, which I can't wait for. Love for the love of the characters, for Miles' impact growth as a character. God, it's gonna be so heartfelt and emotional, like the Lego Movie. For Lori Miller, they did also do the Lego Movie. That is true. That is true. Have you watched Puss in Boots 2? I have not, unfortunately. I just haven't had the time to. I have so many movies and TV shows that I'm trying to watch and catch up on. Like I'm like rewatching all the King of the Hill episodes, so that way I can get ahead of that, before the reboot comes out. I'm trying to watch The Amazing World of Gumball back over, since we got The Amazing World of Gumball that's going to be coming out this year as well. Some Marvel stuff on the side. We have Ironheart that's going to be coming out in a few weeks. We have Peacemaker that's going to be coming out in August. So, yeah, it's been a pretty busy time, but I definitely will check out Puss in Boots. I have heard good things about Puss in Boots, and things like that. So I definitely will try to get into that at some point. Could Miles' uncle find out that his nephew is Spider-Man, or could he tell him? Well, if he does find out that Miles is Spider-Man in many different ways. In the Insomniac game, Miles Morales, he somehow knew that Miles was Spider-Man. Like you do the mission in the game with the train, you have to help him with that, and he's kind of like he already knows that Miles is the new Spider-Man. Like he knows. He just kind of plays it off very like he just plays it off, but it's like he's already aware. So I think that Uncle Aaron, in the Spider-Verse, like I think that maybe he had some suspicions of him being Spider-Man, but he wasn't sure. But he definitely knew, because with Into, he literally went on a chase to get him. Like he chased him all throughout New York. He wanted to get him bad. And that was also in part of Kingpin. He's working with Kingpin. Unfortunately, we saw he got shot by Kingpin and things like that. So I think he knew some suspicion that he was Spider-Man, but he just didn't really outright say it, because I think Uncle Aaron, he's the type to kind of let it simmer in. He's someone he'll let it simmer in. He won't let you know right then, but when the time is right, he's gonna let you know. Like, I know you're Spider-Man, bro. I know that's you. Across the Spider-Verse made the spot a multiversal threat. Yeah, from a goofy villain on a full-on multiversal threat. Yeah, that's another thing I appreciate about Across the Spider-Verse, because the spot was always like your run-of-the-mill villain of the week character, and they also make so many jokes of that in the movie. But when you really get towards the really like serious parts of the film, and you see like the whole like mind warping thing he does, and you literally see Prowler Miles in a classroom, so you actually see that, and just all these different visions of him and his father, possibly being pruned off the timeline and things like that. And it's just like, man, no, Spot is he's not just this like villain of the week. No, he's something really serious, and he's aware of his powers. So even then, I'm very much curious to see just how crazy Spot is going to get, and how the Spider Society is gonna have to come together to defeat Spot because he's just too powerful. He's just too powerful. Man, that scene is freaking hard. Miles has never given up for his parents. He kept his promise for Peter and Uncle Aaron. He's the true Spider-Man and has a heart and soul. He's the GOAT. Yeah, yeah, he is. He is. Like, he never lost vision of, what his world's Peter told him, what his uncle told him, things like that. He never lost vision of it because that's what makes him who he is. That's why into when you see Miles, he has the green and purple like effects over his head. But then when he meets his universe's Peter Parker, the colors of those like lines, they change from those colors to red and blue because now Miles, he's inspired by what that Peter Parker told him. Like, yes, he still has those elements of like he misses his uncle, he appreciates his uncle, what he's done for him and everything like that, but he's able to take influences from both, and just that molds him even more. So I'm very much curious to see what other things are going to influence him to just make the decisions of being his own Spider-Man even more than what we've already seen. Do you think it's likely that one day we'll see, let's see, one day we'll see Spider-Man 98? Maybe. Maybe anything is possible, you know. I know people have been, coaching for it. People have been wanting it. I've done some videos on it before. And although I don't want it to take away from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but I don't think that it would be a bad thing to have Spider-Man 98. It all depend on the stories that they want to tell for Spider-Man 98, you know? How would they push it further? Because we saw with X-Men 97 what they wanted to do, what they plan on doing. So we kind of already see the blueprint. It's just a matter of what the blueprint would be continuing Spider-Man the animated series into a Spider-Man 98. Thoughts on Spider-Man Lotus? I don't have any thoughts on it, to be honest with you. That's kind of my opinion. I heard a lot of things about Spider-Man Lotus. A lot of people involved with that film are very racist and things like that. I don't support people who do those kind of things. So that's my thought on it. I have no thoughts on Spider-Man Lotus. Me too, Jace. I've been on that for the past week and a half. King of the Hill. I'm guessing that's what you're saying, King of the Hill. Would Miles tell his parents that he's Spider-Man? I think he will. I think that it's gonna get to a point where he's gonna have to tell them because every iteration I've noticed, there has not been an iteration as of yet where he has been able to keep his identity intact. Like he's had to tell his parents. So I think he's gonna tell his parents, and I think this is probably going to be the reverse effect of how, Gwen with her dad, when her dad found out that she was Spider Gwen, right? Ghost Spider. And he was in cop mode. He wasn't really thinking about his daughter. That's his daughter. You know what I mean? He was in cop mode. So when he was in that, he wasn't really able to understand her at the time. But we saw later in the movie, she came back. They had their conversation. They hugged it out, and now I think Captain Stacy understands Gwen a little more now. Why she did what she had to do. Why she was doing what she was doing. He has that understanding. So I think it's going to be an inverse with that. So I think Miles's parents are going to be understanding. They're going to be concerned. Yeah, they're going to be concerned. What parent wouldn't be concerned that their son has these spider abilities and he's out here fighting crime and traveling the Spiderverse, the multiverse, and things like that? Like, what parent wouldn't be concerned? But I think they're going to have a level of understanding as to why Miles has been the way he is, why he's been kind of off to himself, why he's kind of been late coming home and maybe not doing his work or late for school and things like that. They're going to have that understanding. DJ Knight, what's up? You saw Thunderbolts. It was great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Thunderbolts as well. It's unfortunate that it's unfortunate, really great movie, but it's unfortunate that people aren't out there supporting it like it should. You know, I don't understand why. I don't know if it was because of the name change, it threw people off. I think one thing I will say, I think Marvel did the name change too early. They should have waited a few weeks. And what I would have done, this is just me personally, what I would have done when you changed the title of the movie, I would have done a whole rebranding, a whole thing just to kind of like really lift up and elevate. Like, this is the new Avengers, all this stuff, right? But they didn't. So I think that might be a reason why the movie, some people are confused about it. But for me, I enjoyed Thunderbolts. I enjoyed the new Avengers for what it is, what it was. Uh, Century. They did Century right. I was hoping they were going to do Century right. I really enjoyed Bob. I like the dynamic with all these characters. I would like to see another Thunderbolts movie. I would, but I don't know if Marvel will. We're gonna see them in Doomsday, so that's a plus. At least we're gonna see the characters come back in Doomsday. So very curious about what they do next with those characters. Yeah, Smile News Peter was talking about the universe, and Aaron told him, keep going. I can't wait to see his arc and development in Beyond the Spiderverse. I think he needs to make sure his family is safe. Yeah, for sure. He definitely needs to just make sure, like, his family is intact. And I think he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that his family is good. Everything. You say, yes, sir, the King of the Hill. Awesome. I'm glad that the King of the Hill is, being talked about. I'm glad that people are going back and watching it. I think also to kind of serve for the reboot. And again, rest in peace to the voice actor. Let me look up the voice actor that passed away. I don't want to say his name wrong. Jonathan Josh. Josh. I think that's his name. He passed away. He was fatally pruned off the timeline by his neighbor. And it's a really like frustrating reason why his neighbor did what he did. And I'm just like, why does that even bother you? You know what I mean? Unfortunately, for some people, who people are romantically involved with, it bothers them for some reason. And it's really unfortunate that this guy who he was just minding his business, didn't bother anybody. This guy got so frustrated with him over, his uh, his romanticides, and it's just like you could have spent that energy doing something else. So now that guy, he's gonna be locked up for the rest of his life because he decided to not press on with his life. He's so worried about his neighbor's life that he pruned him off the timeline. You know, it wasn't Johnny Hardwick. It's Jonathan Josh. He voice. Well, who does he voice? I don't want to say his name wrong. John Redcorn. That's who he voices. Johnny Hardwick was Dell, but Harcorn is the one that Jonathan Joss Jonathan Joss voiced. They've been reporting it all day today, as well. But yeah, I love Scarlet Spider and Across the Spider Verse. He was so funny, his scenes and so edgy. Yeah, I hope we see more Scarlet Spider. I like Scarlet Spider. Um, I think the whole clone saga thing I'm not a fan of, but I do like Scarlet Spider. I even down to the design in the movie as well. Great. Like if you love those like late 80s, early 90s comics, um you're gonna I think you would love like Scarlet Spider's like design the movie, which again they did a really good job, and showing off that style of those 80s and 90s comics. Almost makes me wonder what they would have done if this was like an X-Men film. Like just imagine them doing like an X-Men film and having like Jim Lee's like X-Men design characters in that same universe as like the Clone Saga Scarlet Spider. I just think that would be really cool. So yeah, I hope we see more Scarlet Spider. I think he's gonna tell the truth about being Spider-Man. The whole multiverse thing. It's gonna be a deeper emotional scenes in Beyond the Spiderverse. Most definitely. Was it Johnny Hardwick? Johnny Hardwick. He passed away last year. No, not last year. 2023. John Hardwick passed away in 2023. The one I'm referring to now, he just passed away today. Yeah, you just seen it? For real, I just seen this now. I have King of the Hill on my TV right now. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he was fatally pruned off the timeline by his neighbor. He's his neighbor just for no reason at all, just took him out. It's just really sad. It's really sad. It's really frustrating. And like I said, you can search it up and read the details about what happened, but it's just like, come on, man. This guy was just living his life, and you just do him like that. Like some people, man, some people, you know. Did you see Haley is officially married to Josh Allen? I did. I did see that. Congrats to her for getting married. Um, I know people gonna make a whole lot of jokes. Oh man, somebody needed to check on Shamik Moore right now. He boy going through it right now. But Shamik Moore, he's a talented guy. He's a talented guy. All he needs to do is just chill, and he's gonna find him a good woman in his life. When the time is right, he's gonna find a good woman in his life, and he's gonna be good. He's talented, talented guy. He's funny. All these things. If he just would just chill and just not be weird and just do your thing, he'll be good. So yeah. But again, shout out to Haley, getting married and whatnot. Getting married is a very special thing, and she looks happy. She looks happy, so that's the important thing. Um, Wishing her many years of marriage. Yeah. Are you excited for a new era and new chapter for Warner Brothers Animation? I am. Actually, next week we're going to be getting some stuff at the Annecy Animation Film Festival. I think I'm saying that right. So, if you like that kind of content, stay tuned because we might be getting a ton of announcements there. We got the Amazing World of Gumball, the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. We got that. The regular show reboot, I'm sure we'll hear something about. The Adventure Time spin-offs, as well as Fiona and Cake, I'm sure we might hear about. My Adventures with Superman Season 3. Shout out to my DC fans out there. and things like that. So we'll definitely be hearing some things for sure. I know there was talks about them at CinemaCon. They were, and I did a video about it like a month or two ago. They were talking about a new Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, and Flintstones, which we already knew about the Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones movie that was coming out. I just haven't had time to do a video on it, so I should probably do a video on it at some point. But there's a new animated Looney Tunes movie, a new animated Tom and Jerry movie on the way that they're working on. So hopefully we hear something about that too, because we need some Looney Tunes. I don't know about you, but I'm missing my Looney Tunes right now. I need my Looney Tunes craving satisfied. So yeah, yeah. Rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to him. I just it's really like again, it's really unfortunate what happened to him. It seems like all the King of the Hill actors are leaving us, hoping the best for his family. King of the Hill is loving life. Yeah, condolences to him, him and his family. Everybody worked on the cast with him too. Like I'm sure he's in the new season. And I even wonder. I wonder if he was at the event that they had. Apparently, they showed a trailer off for the King of the Hill reboot, but they haven't released it yet. So they're probably going to release it at a later date. I know there's been some footage out there online about it. I'm not going to react or really speak anything on it until Hulu officially releases it out of the respect for everybody involved. I'm not going to do that. If other people want to do that, that's more power to them, but I won't do that. So, yeah. Yeah, NSC is already it's already next week. It's going to be next week on the 9th, I think, 9th of June. So, yeah. Yeah, it's for last year, June 9th of 2023 where yeah, I think it's going to be June 9th as well this year for that too. I'm happy they recast Adele because Johnny Hardwick would want that. It was rumored that Toby Huss would be Dale, and bang boom, it's official. Yeah, I did hear about that rumor for a while. I wasn't sure if it was true or not, but I'm glad they officially confirmed it, and I'm glad they continued the character. They didn't kill the character off. I said kill. Well, I've already said it, so I might as well. They didn't take the character off. They didn't do a proud family where they just had him move without even saying a single word. That still gets me about that proud family reboot. Like I understand Orlando Brown, he did some stuff, he's done some stuff, but still, like that whole thing with them with Sticky and him just putting up the peace sign and then he's gone. That just didn't sit right with me, and it still doesn't sit right with me now. I would have preferred someone else to take over for Sticky. You know, there's plenty of other talented voice actors and stuff that would have taken over for that role, but I understand sometimes some roles just they don't want they don't want new people, but you know. But yeah. Oh yeah, Warner Brothers Animation is a partnership with Locksmith Animation. Yeah, they're doing a lot. They're gonna be showing off and talking about a lot at Annecy. You said you seen the trailer. It looks cool. It looked like it was a Comic Con exclusive. Hmm. So yeah, they might show the same trailer at Comic Con, and then probably they'll release it closer to the release of the show. So maybe they'll release the trailer in July. So if so, July is going to be a busy month, by the way. Very busy month. Summer box office is going to go crazy. We got F1, Ballerina, Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, and Fantastic Four. The box office is going to be blowing up this summer. You ain't lying. You ain't lying for real. There's a lot of movies coming out. A lot of movies coming out. Like I said, you got F1. If you're into F1 racing, I watch quite a lot of F1 racing, so I'm definitely curious. I might go see it. Ballerina, which in the world of John Wick, come on now. John Wick, Ballerina, come on, what are we talking about? That's a given. Jurassic World, dinosaurs, we got dinosaurs, come on. Superman, Fantastic Four. It's a wild summer. We got racing, we got vigilantes, we got Jurassic World, we got dinosaurs, we got a god, a literal god from Krypton. And we got a first family, got Marvel's first family. So yeah, big box office summer for sure. P.S. Bill was the producer for Shark Tale with Will Smith and executive producer for Kung Fu Panda and Over the Hedge. She did work for DreamWorks for 20 years. Wow, did not know that. That's how many times you said I love F1. Yeah, F1's really dope. Really dope. I like sometimes I'll just sit down when I don't have anything else better to watch and I'll just watch like NASCAR, F1, stuff like that. I've always been someone who's like into cars, growing up. So cars will always like be a part of that DNA for me where I'll just sit there and I'll watch car racing and stuff like that. I played a lot of racing games too. Grew up on Need for Speed, Midnight Club, things like that. So yeah. Dang, apparently Jonathan was at the panel. He was. Oh, see now that hits even harder now because if he was at the panel, that was the last time. That was the last time they were able to see him. I just it just it really makes you feel like it really makes you feel for this situation. Like this situation shouldn't have even happened in the first place. It's like dude was just minding his business and somebody got mad because he was romantically involved with somebody that he didn't like and I don't want to get into it. I don't want to rant, but it's unfortunate, you know. I was watching King of the Hill myself. Yeah, it seems like everybody I know has been like binge watching King of the Hill for the reboot. So, well, season 14, rather. Just depends on what you like to call it, but yeah. So it's been a good rewatch. I've been enjoying a lot of the episodes. I just got to the part where Bobby iconic episode. That's my purse. I don't know you. Uh, iconic episode. Love that episode. It's so funny every time I watch it. I think my favorite King of the Hill episode. There's quite a few. Obviously, the one with Bernie Mac, where he's like scared of the dog. He's like really scared of the dog because his dog looks like it's gonna attack him. I don't blame him. I don't do too well with dogs either. So, especially big dogs. I get very worried around big dogs. So, with that in mind, I definitely understand him being scared of just Hank's dog in general, even though maybe he wasn't gonna do anything. But it definitely, I think he did bite him, if I'm not mistaken. I think he did bite him, if I'm not mistaken. I have to rewatch the episode. That's one of my favorite episodes. Rest in peace to Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac is one of my favorite comedians of all time. I could just sit there and watch Bernie Mac and just laugh like all day because he's just that funny. It just really sucks and it's unfortunate that his health went down and we didn't get a chance to really see more of him because he was starting to get into doing more movies and things like that. and I just would have loved to have seen him flourish into more things. So yeah, rest in peace to Bernie Mac. You know, um, the other one is probably the Halloween episode. It's like the church lady is mad because she thinks that Halloween's a satanic holiday, and Hank is like, it's not a satanic holiday. It's about what you make it. And I think that's like a thing that's always been like said, is that Halloween is this like satanistic like holiday. And it's not that. It all depends on what you make it. You know, holidays are all about what you make them out to be. And you know, some people don't even open Christmas presents on Christmas, but they'll go over and they'll eat food, you know, at their family's house. Some people will drink on Christmas. Some people will sleep on Christmas. Some people will order Chinese food on Christmas. But it's just all about what you decide to make the holiday. It's all upon you, what you decide to do. And so I kind of I had an appreciation for that episode, just kind of the fact of like it's up to us to make the best of what we can in this life. And I think that episode just did a really good point in that. Yeah, King of the Hill can get very wild, especially with Dell. Dell, I tell you, Dell would be one of the most chaotic people if he was real. Dell, there's too many people out here now that are literally Dell. You know, just off of the whole conspiracy theorist stuff, the constant paranoid, all that. I know there are a lot of people out there that are like Dale. So it hits even harder now when you see Dale, and it's like all of these things that he said. Quite funnily enough, if you've been on social media, you've heard before. So, yeah, you could say King of the Hill was ahead of its time. Again, hype for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I want to thank Lord Miller and Sony Pictures Animation for creating the Spider-Verse films to life. Yeah, that's what it all boils back down to. Everybody who's created these Spider-Verse films. I don't know if anyone from the Spider-Verse crew is ever going to watch this live stream. Maybe they will. Surprisingly, you'd be surprised of the people that do watch my YouTube channel and stuff like that. You'd be surprised. But if there is someone who works at the Spider Verse movies, I want to say thank you for just making this experience. I would love to interview someone who works at on the Spider Verse movies as well. Rather it's Chris Miller or Phil Lord or one of the animators. I want to just interview somebody because I would just want to get their like story and point of view and their experience working on the films and stuff like that. So who knows? Anything is possible. I might have to reach out to someone at from the Spider Verse who works on the Spider Verse side of things and see what I can do. Yeah, Hank is the everyman. He is. So far, Across the Spider Verse is the best animated film of all time, but Beyond the Spider Verse is gonna go crazy. I agree. Beyond the Spider Verse is gonna go super crazy. Like, I think that when we look back 10 years from now, Spider Verse is gonna be on the top five list of best movie trilogies of all time. You know, you got your Back to the Future, you got your Lord of the Rings, you got all that. But I think beyond this whole Spider Verse trilogy, the Spider Verse saga, it's gonna be up there. And I said this, and I'm gonna continue to say this. These movies are so visually beautiful that they literally, I would not be surprised if they are literally put in a museum, because that's just how beautiful, crafted they are, how visually pleasing, visually elevating these movies are. I would not be surprised. These movies need to be in a museum, if I'm being honest. They're just that artistically moving that I don't understand why they aren't in a museum. Who's hyped for Annecy Festival? I'm hyped for Annecy Festival next week. I'm hyped for it. A lot of stuff going on. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing videos to be. I'm gonna be doing videos to cover a lot of what we see. But the visuals and lighting and colorful in the Spider-Verse films is phenomenal work. Yeah, it is. I don't know if you guys check my community tab, but check out my community tab. I've been getting back into graphic designing. I haven't done graphic design in a while. But I've been getting back into it, and I posted a 2-year anniversary poster for Across the Spider-Verse. I don't know if you guys have seen it on the community tab, but definitely go check it out. I really enjoy making it. I made it today, actually. Got up this morning, and I said I wanted to make something for the anniversary, but I wasn't sure. It was gonna be a video at first, but then I was like, I might save that for another time. So I decided instead to just do a poster for the movie and whatnot with scenes and stuff from the movie. And I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed making it. I thought it was very cool. Yes, they are talking about Cat in the Hat with Bill Hader, the first film from Warner Brothers Pictures Animation under the Bill Domesic role. I think I'm saying it right. Which DNEG Animation is involved in as a animation partner. I have heard about that Cat in the Hat movie. I saw like an image of it. I think they released like an image of it. So yeah, that looks interesting. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. But yeah, I think that might be it. I'm probably gonna end this at an hour 45 minutes, because I don't want it to be too long. Because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this stream. You guys were very informative. It's great having this conversation talking about Across the Spider Verse. And best believe your boy is hyped, excited for Beyond the Spider Verse to come out. I'm excited. I can't wait. Like I said, I wish I had a time machine right now. I'd go to 2027 right now just so I could go watch Beyond the Spider Verse for the first time in theaters, like I did when I went to go see Into for the first time in theaters, like I did in 2023 when I went to go see Across the Spider Verse in theaters for the first time. So, yeah, that first time watch is always gonna hit different because you just remember, like you just remember, right? And even then, I remember when Across the Spider Verse came out, and the music was a little too loud in the opening scene. It was a little too loud for me in my theater. It's not like I couldn't hear Gwen, but it was a little louder than what it was supposed to be, and they ended up fixing it. But even in those moments like that, like just remembering those little moments, it's just like that's what's so dope about this. And even rewatching it, because it's on Disney Plus. For those of you who don't know, like it's on Disney Plus right now for you to go watch. But I own the movie. I bought the 4K version of it for that and Into the Spider Verse. And I rewatched it recently, and I didn't even notice that like in 7 seconds of the movie, there is a cough sound effect. I had no idea. I don't remember seeing that cough sound effect in theaters or anything, but apparently that's always been there. So when you see the words cough, apparently that was somebody who actually coughed during the I guess they just left it in. I don't know if that was like a joke or something, but they literally just left it in, and I was like, I don't remember that. So even then, like I'm always still finding little things when I'm rewatching the movie. Like it's just one of those movies that just has like really good rewatchability that every time you watch it, you always find something new. Like either there's characters dancing in the background or characters staring at you into the camera. Like there's always like little things in there that you just always seem to find. Imagine Cudi humming on Metro Boomin's beats would be fire. Would like to see a feature. I was just talking about that earlier. I hope we get a Kid Cudi and Metro Boomin collab in Beyond the Spiderverse. That would be fire. I also loved Intergalactic. I remember watching that. Yeah, I was supposed to watch that movie like a few years ago. I did like a whole like video to it, and I just completely forgot about it. But someone that I was talking to at the time, which I still talk to her now, we're still friends, which is I made the video literally for her because I was like, if it wasn't for her, then I probably would have just have forgotten about the film until like I bumped into it one day on Netflix. So she was talking about it, and then I went and I watched it, and I was like, wow, I remember I was supposed to watch this movie like 2 years ago, and I forgot about it. So I did, and that's kind of what made me do that video. Why I love Intergalactic. I know a lot of people didn't watch it, unfortunately. It didn't blow up or anything like that. It was unfortunate because I really like enjoy that video and I worked like really hard on it, but it's one of those hidden gems, you know? It's a hidden gem. So if you like that kind of content, definitely check out that Intergalactic review I did because I enjoyed it. I really did. I love that movie. And Kid Cudi on the soundtrack, I mean, come on. Kid Cudi on the soundtrack was just phenomenal. That's why I say we gotta have that Kid Cudi and Metro Boomin collab on Beyond. I need it. I need it. That is The Rock. That's like goosebumps. I need that. So I hope it happens. Anything is possible. So yeah. My birthday is coming up June 30th. I'm becoming 20 years old. Well, shout out to you. Happy early birthday. I'll make sure to remember June 20th, June 30th. That's your birthday. So shout out to you. Nostalgic, you said the audio for the opening scene and Across was fine for you. Yeah, like I remember I asked like a few people. I was like, was the audio a little too loud for you? Uh, during that opening scene, they were like, some were like, yeah, and then some were like, no, it was fine for me. I guess it just all depend on what theater you went to and what version you got, because I know they had different versions of the movies sent out. Because again, they were still, and what's crazy about this is that even through those movies being in theaters, they're still working on them. They're still working on the effects and the animation and all that for those movies. So they don't really have a polished version of the movie until the Blu-ray and the physical releases and stuff like that comes out for the film. So that's why certain lines that we heard, like if you went to the theaters and heard certain lines, some of them did get cut from, the versions and stuff like that. Um, like I think after like Miles says, "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing." I think he says like, "I'm sorry, I gotta go home." I think they cut that line. I believe they cut that line. So it was just instead of him saying like, "Sorry, I gotta go home," he just unhooks himself from the web and he just like veers off, right? So yeah, I'm glad you saw that video. I like really enjoyed it. Fun facts: Dot the Genius is Kid Cudi's producer and friend. Really? Did not know that. Interesting. You're going to be 19 June 12th. Well, shout out to you. Happy birthday to you as well. A lot of June birthdays. That's dope. Happy early birthday to you both. Hope you guys have an amazing birthday. If I'm streaming on one of those days, just let me know and I'll wish you a happy birthday again. Yeah, Miles is speaking facts on Miguel. That scene is fire. Yeah, it is. It's a fire scene. That whole 45 minute. I think it's like 45 minutes. It might be. I might be exaggerating, but that whole 45 minutes of that scene with him and everybody's chasing after him, and then he's getting on the train and all that stuff. Just masterpiece. Cinema masterpiece. You're welcome. You're welcome, nostalgic times. But yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna end it. I enjoy talking with you guys on stream. I'm actually gonna start. I'm gonna start shouting you guys out. Thank you for coming in to the first day of you know Streamathon this week. So tomorrow's stream, we're gonna be talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day and all these rumors because Spider-Man Brand New Day rumors is getting kind of wild. A lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys have heard. A lot of stuff is coming out. A lot of rumors. A lot of talks about certain characters showing up in the movie and all that. So we're gonna dive into that. We're gonna have a full fleshed out discussion about all of that. So if you're excited for Spider-Man Brand New Day, come through because we're gonna have a good old conversation. But yeah, everybody that came through, shout out to Professor Palm, shout out to you, shout out to Colbert Blade, shout out to my buddy Carson, shout out to LC3, shout out to, let's see, Carter, shout out to Carter, my boy Carter, shout out to Antonio, shout out to Maceo, shout out to Solomon, shout out to Mario Fanatic Animations. Let's see if I'm missing anyone. I'm trying to go down the list. Poe, shout out to Poe. I don't know if any of you are still in here. Shout out to Caden. Shout out to Seb22. Shout out to DJ Knight for coming through. Shout out to Nostalgic Times. I think that's everybody. I think that's all you guys, I think. Yeah, shout out to all you coming through. Really. This has been amazing. Yeah, can't wait. I can't wait for the stream tomorrow too. I can't wait. I've been wanting to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day for some time, ever since these rumors have been coming out. So that's definitely going to be a good conversation. Same time tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be the time frame for all the streams, and I can kind of put you up on game on what Wednesday's stream is going to be about. Wednesday's stream, if you're an X-Men fan, because there's been a lot of talk about X-Men going on as of recently. If you're a fan of X-Men, we're going to be putting together our own MCU X-Men lineup. So if you're into that, you're hyped for the X-Men to come in, you're hyped for that, come through on Wednesday because we will be doing an X-Men MCU lineup stream where we conjure up a team. We're gonna see what we can come up with. We're gonna see what different possibilities and scenarios of teams that we can come up with. And see which one was the best one. So yeah. Yes, this is an amazing stream, bro. Thanks for letting me know about what's going on with the entertainment in life, man. Yeah, for sure. Listen, I enjoy doing these streams. I enjoy talking with you guys. I wish I had more time in the day. I would love to stream, and if I had the resources, I would be doing so many things. Like I would be playing games. I would be just doing a ton of stuff with you guys. But when we get to that level, hey, we'll be doing more stuff for sure. You're welcome, Jace. It's been amazing. I'm hyped for Warner Brothers animation. Yeah, I'm hyped. Like I said, there's a lot of things to be hyped about, and it's just great to get your mind off of the stuff that's going on in the world and stuff. And I know it can be hard, but being able to just be excited and being around a group of people, just interacting with each other and talking about these different things, it just makes the days better. You know what I mean? It just makes us it makes each day worth living. So yeah, with that in mind, thank you all so much for coming through in the stream again. Yeah, being optimistic is key. You're exactly right. You're exactly right, and that's hard sometimes. Trust me, believe me. I know it's hard sometimes, but you got to keep pushing. You got to keep going. Got to keep going. Um, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Throughout all this, there's something good coming your way. So just got to keep going. But yeah, been amazing. Shout out to Across the Spider-Verse for turning 2 years old and many more years. Beyond the Spider-Verse, we coming 2027. You know it's gonna be a banger. So yeah, thank you all so much. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those post notifications for more dope, amazing entertainment content over here on the channel. You said Man Across the Spider-Verse is a banger movie for Sony Pictures Animation. Can't wait for the final chapter of Miles' story. I can't wait either. I can't wait either. And really seeing where the Spider-Verse goes next, because I don't think that's the end. I don't think that's the end of the Spider-Verse. So yeah, that being said, take care of yourselves. I hope you guys have a good week. If I don't see you again this week, but hopefully you guys will be here tomorrow and the rest of the days as well. But yeah, long outro because I don't do good with goodbyes. If you probably noticed, but yeah. With that being said, big love to you all and peace out. I should probably stop doing that. There we go.